Hey bosses, my family of bosses, bosses of your social, both LinkedIn and Facebook. How are your employees doing? Today what we're going to do is we want to know what good looks like. What we want to figure out is where are you going. So we're going to do three things to help us really cement in your mind a clear picture of what your profiles are supposed to be doing for you. Right? These employees, what's their job? And how do you know if they're performing effectively or correctly or in the way that you hope they would? So we're going to do three things today. First off, we're going to talk about beginning with the end in mind, and we've got a little exercise with that. Second, we're going to learn how to emulate the greats, and I've created a tool that will help you do that efficiently and effectively. And then finally, we're going to play a little game called Remember the Future. So here we go, beginning with the end in mind. Okay, what am I talking about? This is the second habit from Stephen Covey's book. Got it right here. This is a great book if you haven't read it. I read it probably 20 years ago. Read it a few times since then. Use it as a reference from time to time. Amazing guy. Beginning with the end in mind. When we want to go somewhere, then we have to know where we're going. So with your social media, what do you want it to do? One of the things that we learn in this book is that in this chapter, Stephen Covey talks about when you create things, you do it twice. You create it once mentally, and then the second time you create it physically. So think about, let's say we build a house. I'm going to build a house. I don't just, go out like a kid. Well, if a kid, you do it, maybe you're 4, you just grab some wood and start nailing it together. And then it ends up being a little wonky, right? If we're going to build a real house, we've got to have some architectural drawings, and we've got to figure it all out. And then we're going to build it to our spec. And so a lot of times when it comes to the efforts that we're doing online with this stuff, we're more like the kid building a fort, and we're not actually building it to spec. However, I will say that in the realm of social media, it's actually a little bit more like the game of golf, right? If you think about the game of golf, here I am. I think I got a picture for you. Let's see. Yeah, so here, listen to me. Let's say I'm a woman, right? Here I am getting ready to tee off. And I have to think in my mind, where do I want this ball to go? In fact, I might even visualize the entire hole. If it's a course I've played many times, then I know this one is going to go down and kind of dog ear to the right. And then, I kind of know how it plays. But if it's brand new, we kind of just speculate. We say, okay, I think what I want to do is I want to just hit it right down the middle on the fairway. Going to hit it right up over there. Kind of maybe a little bit on the right of the fairway. And then that'll set me up to go around the corner, right or the left, whatever it's going to be, right? We figure that all out. We map it out in our mind, and then we go through the motions to create the reality that we've envisioned. Okay, but here's the problem with golf. If you golf like me, right, maybe it didn't go quite the way you wanted. Okay, you planned to be right in the middle, and somehow that ball decided to go into the bunker. And so your second shot is a lot different than you originally planned, and you have to get a different drive, different club. You got to make a little bit different shot than you were planning from the beginning. And this is probably more like social media. But when it comes to golf, you know where the flag is. You know where the hole is. So no matter where you're at, you're always kind of refocusing. Okay, here's my target. That last shot didn't go quite like I wanted to, but I am going to be able to still hit it in the right direction. And with social media, if you know your end-all objectives, what is it that you're trying to accomplish, then no matter where you're at, whether you're creating a post or you're optimizing something, you can quickly think, okay, where's my target? And that's what we want to talk about, okay? So it's less like building a house where it's exact. It's going to be more like golf. And if you've never played golf before, then you might find yourself, like this guy right here. He is, he's definitely not playing the game he had envisioned in his mind. And so that brings us to the first exercise of beginning with the end in mind. So I want you to go ahead and look at your worksheet for day 2. To what end will your social media lead your prospects and clients? So again, with beginning with the end in mind, what is the objective? And really there's 3. The first one is going to be the brain. It's going to be the information that you communicate. And so what I have here is it says, top messages communicated, right? So what are the messages that you're going to communicate? And then secondly, we're going to talk about emotion. What is the emotion that you're going to try to effect or invoke? And then finally, if you hit their mind and you hit their heart, then we're going to start talking about the action that we want them to take. So taking a look at this, What's the top messages that we want to communicate? Okay, I'm going to give you guys a couple examples, and then you can pause the video and then you can figure this out for yourself. You can write this down and fill it out. So when it comes to messaging, I've just kind of put some general categories here. We've got authority, right? Is the purpose of your social profile to establish your authority or your credibility? Are you putting stuff out there to prove that you know what you're talking about and you're trustworthy and you're, have the capabilities? Maybe it's you want to see yourself as a partner. So maybe you really see yourself as a partner and you can communicate, look, I partner with businesses and I understand your vision and I take care of the risk and I help you figure that out. Maybe it's pain. You're saying, you know what, you're feeling pain and I'm here to help you make that pain go away. What is the message that you want to communicate? Maybe you're trying to help them save money, right? We always say, guys, you don't want to sell on money as a plain point, but I see this over and over that the message that most people, well not most, but many agents' social profile is promoting is talk to me and I can help you save money. So you need to think about that information. What is the message that you want to share? Now you could pause the video right now and just fill this out, or if you want to, I'll give you a chance in a second once we talk about all three of these categories, and then you can do that. So the second one is the emotion. Okay, the second one is what is the emotion? So if you were to go and look at a profile and you might say, what is the emotion that I'm feeling? When I look at the pictures, how does it make me feel? Does it make me feel happy or sad or nervous or helpful or peaceful? So you've got all these different types of things. Is it intriguing me? When I read the language, does it invite me? It's like, oh man, I kind of want to learn a little bit more about this. There's this great idea in a book by the Heath brothers. I'm sure it came out from before then, but that's where I read it. And it's the idea of the mind is like a guy on an elephant and the heart is like an elephant. And the idea is if you want to align your intellect and your emotion, then you've got to create a clear path that is inviting to both of them, right? So if I want to go on a diet and my mind says I want to go on a diet, but my emotion, my heart is like, I'm a fat guy, right? I want to eat donuts for breakfast. But skinny guy is my mind. My mind is saying, oh, I'm skinny guy. I'm going to exercise. Fat guy says I want to eat donuts. Then there's going to be conflict. But if you can somehow create a clear path that's going to entice them emotionally as well as intellectually, now all of a sudden you're going to be able to really help move that person forward. And so that's really what we're doing here is with your profile, when we think about the end in the beginning with the end in mind, what is it that's going to intellectually drive them in that direction? Or where are they going? What's that path look like? And then emotionally, what kind of feelings you want them to feel? And then finally, the last part of it is we also need to talk about action, right? So you got to get them start moving. Okay, here's the path, here's where we go, and you can help them, be their guide to help move them down that path. Do you want them to click a button? Do you want them to visit a website or watch a video or pick up the phone and call you or send you an email or write down and fill out a form? Maybe you want them to watch a case study that you've created that's going to establish your credibility, or help establish you as an authority. So I'm going to pause the video now, and I want you to go ahead and fill out these 3 items, and then once you've got that filled out, then we can carry on. I will pause the video. I'm going to freeze myself. Maybe I'll do the robot, because I'm an amazing robot dancer. And now you've done it, right? Hopefully you've done it. So you paused it during that period of time. Now, when you share your post today at the end of class, this would be something that you could share. You say, as I was working through this today, I came up with my information and my emotion. Or maybe you have a follow-up question, you can share that. And that way we can further this conversation over time in the Boss Social community. Okay, so let's go on to item number 2. Emulating the greats. Now, what am I talking about? What I'm talking about is we don't need to reinvent the wheel here. Our goal is not to be on the front end. Our goal is to actually just put our head down, look around, and see who's actually doing awesome stuff. And then we're going to not copy it, not steal it, not plagiarize, but we're going to emulate it. So the way I like to explain this often is thinking about a trip I took to Paris. I was at the Louvre, and I was looking at the pictures. Not only did I get to see all the pictures, I got to see something that was going on there that really surprised me. And this is what it was. It was all of these beautiful little grandmas that had their canvas and their paints, and they were looking at the greats. They were looking at these beautiful, priceless pictures, and they were painting them themselves. They were making copies. And it was such a cool thing to be able to see them emulating directly from the greats. And that's our metaphor. We are just going to go out and find who's already got this stuff figured out, who's looking good, so we can just borrow from what they're doing. So to do that, I've created something to help you. And it's called the Social Media Profile Audit Tool. And what it is you can go through this, you print it off, and when you go look at a profile, you fill it out. And when you fill it out, it's going to give you ideas of things that you want to emulate and things that you maybe don't want to do, right? You're going to see some stuff that's like, I don't like that. Some stuff you really like. And if you do this for multiple profiles, what happens is you start to get a really good idea of what you want your profile to look like. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to sit down on my computer now, and we're going to use this tool to walk through my profile. And you're going to see it's not perfect, but what you're going to see is how we can use this tool. All right, so here we're looking at my computer screen, and you can see I've got two windows open. On the left, I've got my LinkedIn profile, and on front of that, on the right, I've got the Boss Social Media Profile Audit Tool. So when we look at this tool, we can see here, again, you're going to print this out for every profile that you're going to check out, and it's going to be a way for you to be able to get some tips on what you can do for your own. So you put the name, so if we're going to look at mine, we're going to assume that you're looking at my profile. You write my name in there, and you put an X on the LinkedIn, and then you're going to review the images, you're going to review the contact information, and then you're going to review some of the other sections to see how well they resonate. Are they, is it something you want to emulate or something you want to avoid? So let's just go ahead and do that for mine. How are the images? Do they capture your attention? Do they draw you in? Do any of them include a call to action? Do the main images match the look and feel of the person's other marketing? So we've got a profile image, a cover photo, and then other images. So for each of these, let's say we're looking at the profile image here. Is there anything we'd want to emulate? Is there anything we want to avoid? Okay, so things we want to emulate. Nothing in the background, very clear background, nothing distracting. That's kind of nice. I've got a smile. The data shows that a little bit of a smile or a big smile is going to be better than no smile at all. In fact, one of the things I don't like about this picture is I look kind of serious in that one. Things that you want to avoid, right? You want to avoid being bald and a little bit overweight, right? But hey, what can you do about that, right? I told my wife when we got married I looked like Jerry Seinfeld, and somehow in the last 25 years I've turned into George Costanza. But that's just, some things you can't do. But you can see here I didn't put a tie on. I do have a collar shirt on. I wanted to be a little more professional than just too casual. It's not Facebook. But at the same time, I think, I feel pretty good about that picture. So there's some things you can be overly critical about yourself, but in the most part, you guys could tell me if we were in a conference call, you might give me some feedback, but I'd say, no one's going to look at that and say, oh, that's so hideous, I can't believe I have to look at that, right? We're all harsher on ourselves than anyone else, but that looks pretty good. So here's this one here, the cover photo. Let's take a look at that one. The cover photo, it's got me in my office, working on the computer. You can see the guitar in the background. I'm a bit of a musician, so I'm letting a little bit of my personal side come out. One of the things you'll see here too is I've added this red circle with Get Training, See Below. So this is my call to action. If people see this, I want them, look at this page, right? If you were to kind of pull your eyelids back so it was kind of blurry and you couldn't really make sense of any of the details, probably that red dot is going to be what your eye gets focused on. And so I wanted to do that on purpose. I wanted people to kind of see Get Training, and maybe there was a little of intrigue there. They would say, hey, maybe I'll check this out. And that's going to encourage them to look further down on the profile and see more things. Now, of course, this is my own profile, so I have all these pencils, and it kind of uglies it up a little bit. If you were looking at my profile, it might be a little bit more pronounced, the About section. And when you click this one, it's got all of the information that See Training is talking about. And you can read down here, and you can learn about how you can get access to my training. So call to action, other images. In the About section, you actually can add more pictures. And so when you look at this, you can see there's some pictures of me teaching, and that's what I spend most of my time doing. But at the same time, you guys might have some pictures of yourself with a client or getting an award or doing a hobby that you like. Things that are going to help show people. It's kind of that show, don't tell kind of thing. And then also for the job titles, right? For your job titles, you can actually add imagery on those too. And so you can click on those, and it's going to show pictures of yourself or anything else that you want to share with people. So here's my team that I used to work with when I was at Safeco. So you can see all kinds of
my history very quickly to size me up. Okay, and you think, what? Who is this guy? What's this guy all about? And so you get some information about me very quickly in one spot. So this is a really powerful thing, the imagery. Is it creating a positive moment of truth? Is it creating a negative moment of truth? You know, I will tell you, one of the things that you're shooting for is neutral. Honestly, it's sad to say that, but a lot of times we notice bad things, but we don't notice good things, right? So for example, I do a lot of real estate investing on the side, and you know, you'll get something and I'll spend all this work to hide something that was ugly, that was negative. And it's not that someone walks in and they say, wow, this room looks so normal, where before they would have said, wow, this room's got an issue. So it's kind of like you're trying to create positive moments for sure, but really what you really want to do is not create you want to create positive and not negative moments. So if I didn't have a background picture here, or I didn't have a picture here, those are very clearly negative things, where having something here is going to be more positive. All right, so let's jump through this because we don't want this to take all day long. Let's look at our other items. So on the contact information, you've got your title and your headline. And so the title and headline, they're a little different in Facebook and in LinkedIn, but on LinkedIn, here it is right here. Got my headline tag, and you'll notice that this goes with me. So for example, if I were to click on the home button and go back, you're going to see that right there, that headline goes with me. So this is kind of a key and an important thing that we want to make sure that we get right. And so in this one, again, looking back at our homework, okay, let's go up to the previous page. What does good look like? What is the message we're communicating? What's the emotional response? Is there a call to action? So this is what I'm looking at. I'm a social selling guide, so I'm communicating that. People always ask me, Brett, what do you do? And I thought, you know what if I put the answer to that right in my headline? I help producers amplify their superpowers to attract their ideal client. And I've written that in such a way that my hope is that it's positive, but it's also a little vague. And you're like, I kind of want superpowers. What do you mean by that? So you're going to want to read a little bit more and create some intrigue. And then also we've got the Boss Social, which is the name of my company. That's just a good SEO tactic to put your business name in your headline tag. And so when we go down to the About section and we look more here, we're going to be able to look for more things here. That is this, if you were to read this, will it evoke any sort of emotional response as well as an informational, sharing information. All right, so let's go back and look. Let's look right here. We've got industry phone, website, all that other stuff. So what you're going to do is I want you to look at people's contact information. And you can see on mine, I've got quite a few things here. A lot of times there'll only be one item there. They haven't completed that. And so you're going to realize for yourself, oh man, if I only have nothing there, people know how to contact me. I want to make it very easy for people to reach out to me. And so you can, of course, click that pencil and you can go in and you can update things. So in your case, you might want to put your work phone number or the phone number to the secretary at the front office. You might want to put your work address in there. My business is a little different, so I don't need to put that information out there for myself. Again, tomorrow when we really get into the nuts and bolts, we'll be going through that. But today what we want to do is just get an idea of what are the things that look good. What are the things we want to emulate? Okay, and in this case, let's just finish them and avoid not finishing them. And then if we look down at the next section, does this resonate with me? Does this profile pique my interest? Could this person help me? Does it provide a path for me to follow? What is my next step? So hopefully a good profile is going to answer those questions. And when you look at the introduction, the about, the recommendations, and the posts and the articles, they're going to be working towards that goal. So if you're playing golf and the object is to hit to the flag, what's your flag? Your flag is to communicate some of those things. And so my hope would be that if someone read this, if they go and they read this, then connect with Brett here on LinkedIn to get acquainted. Okay, so I'm creating an invitation. Here's a path. If you want to get to know me, connect with me here. Or if you want to reach out so we can talk social selling, or reach out. Or then I just say, hey, you can actually check out my website. So I've got a couple of different degrees, right? I kind of say, if you want to go on a first date, you want to go on a second date, then I'm giving you those options right up front, right? I'm not saying, hey, I'm here to sell you insurance. I'm not saying, hey, you look nice. Can I put a ring on your finger? I'm not going straight to the end goal. I'm recognizing that the job of this employee right here, this LinkedIn employee, his job is to get me first dates. His job is to get people into my pool, into my LinkedIn sphere of influence, so I can then, over time, through the other things I share, for example, the posts, the activity, the things like this, all this kind of stuff, and I look at these posts and things like that, then this is content that hopefully is going to help people strengthen the relationship to feel more comfortable, right? In this example here, I say, what would your phone say in its next group therapy session? Sharing the comment to help me come up with the best caption for my upcoming speaking gig. And in it, I have some phones. This is a little cartoon I made. It says, I'm so confused. He says he loves her, but he always reaches for me before he ever kisses her good morning. And it's just talking about this concept of our addiction to phones. So you can see I've got some views on this. So these kinds of things, this is the marination that I'm going to create once I get people into my sphere. I'm going to share things with them that's going to help them feel comfortable around me and help them, have opportunities to talk and answer questions and things like that. So there's different kinds of content we can have here, and the question is, are you putting it on there? So when you look at this stuff, what's your response? And if you see something you really like, again, that's what this is for. Write down a note so you can go ahead and do that. The last thing I want to share with you on my profile is, and again, we'll go into this not so much tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow, we're really going to get into this, and that is the power of recommendations. So when you're thinking about creating an emotional response with someone or communicating things, social proof is so powerful. When other people say nice things about you, it's just really hard to beat that. And so when I look at all of the recommendations that I've garnished from people, this is a really powerful thing. So for example, here's my 3 teammates from when I worked at Safeco, right? Nick, Stacy, and Dale. These guys are awesome. They're rock stars, and it was really nice that they were willing to give me a recommendation. But they're also in the same space as I am. And so let's say you don't know me, someone referred you, and you're thinking, oh, maybe this Brett Allen guy can help me. And so you're checking someone out, and you say, oh, well, I know Dale, or I know Stacy. Then you can see what they said about me, and that's going to increase your comfort level. Or you might even reach out to that person saying, hey, Stacy, I noticed on LinkedIn you're connected with Brett. Tell me more about this guy. Is he really, the real deal? And you're going to see this more and more, that if you can get other local service industry professionals, realtors and lawyers and attorneys and school teachers and the local sheriff and all these kinds of people to give you recommendations on your LinkedIn, then other people in your market are going to probably know them, and that's going to strengthen their comfort level in having that relationship with you. So these are really important, right? Not just for someone to say nice things to you, but for them to see that you're a part of a community. Also, if I'm in, let's say I was in I focused on technology, writing technology insurance, and I was focusing on writing technology, and I connected with a lot of the technology professionals within my market, right? Maybe I'm in the Atlanta, Georgia market. So I connect with a lot of the people there. And if I can get some of them to give me some endorsements, in the section above, right in here, or recommendations, then that's going to increase my visibility within that space. So there's, if I'm going to go talk to a company and about securing their insurance needs, and they check me out on LinkedIn and see that I'm already connected with a whole lot of other technology related businesses in that area, and some of those people have even given me recommendations. Now this is an employee that's working hard for me. My LinkedIn is a good employee, and they're increasing the probability of positive moments of truth. So again, these are the kinds of things that we're looking for with this social media profile audit tool. Please don't skip this step, okay? Go in and find at least 2 examples of insurance professionals. Go find 2 examples of other professionals in the service industry, maybe some of your clients. And then go ahead and look at other professionals, people who just have a passion that maybe you share just because it's fascinating. In this example, I've got a pro surfer who was actually my surf instructor when I was down in Del Mar, California. We got connected on Facebook, and I try to connect with him when I go down there to have him help me out a little bit. But what's fun is I get to see the way he's using social media in a little bit different industry, but I've garnished some cool ideas from him. All right, so this is taking a little bit longer than I wanted, so I'm just going to go ahead and I want to show you one more thing here as an example. So let me just jump over. This is Sean Aker. He is an author, works at the Harvard. If you've ever read his books on happiness, he's just fascinating. But what you can see here is if I'm checking him out, I'm going to see what he's about, and I can click in here and I can see, is there a call to action? He is. He does have a, now I know where to go learn more about him. And then if I go down, here's something that's featured. When it comes to his activity, I can come in here and I can see again everything that he's posted. So if I want to check him out, I can see what he's been doing. I also can see all activity, which means I can see what he's been liking and commenting on. And of course, I really like the articles. So when I look at his articles, I can see what he's posted, and this is going to give me some information to learn more about him. Again, we're taking our awesomeness and we're putting it out there on the internet for people to see without them having to actually have a conversation with us. So your LinkedIn is praising your name 24/7, 365 days a year to increase the probability that people will have trust and reach out to you and do all those things. So that's what we want to do with this. Go ahead and make a couple mental notes if you need to. Pause the video, and then we're going to jump right back to the training here next.
All right, so now you know how to use the profile audit tool. And just remember, this is a very powerful tool. It's very simple, but it's very powerful. And so one of the things you're going to do is not just today, but in the future, when you run across profiles that you like, think, oh man, I should go grab my tool and I should fill out what do I like and what do I not like, so that way you've got those notes that you can then take back and incorporate into your profile. All right, so now it's time to talk about the third thing for our training today, and that is to play a little game. It's kind of a mental exercise called Remember the Future. So this comes from this book, Innovation Games. It's full of a lot of cool games that I've used over the years for workshops, and this is one of my favorite. And what it is we just want to mentally, again, how we create things twice, right? We want to pretend that it's the future. So close your eyes if you'd like, but the whole goal for this is just to imagine it's 3 years in the future. Where are you at? Now, yes, we want to focus on social media, but I want you to also enlarge that to just your business. Like, where do you want your book to be in 3 years? What are you going to try to accomplish in the next 3 years? So it might be that there's a specific niche that you really like. Maybe you've got a certain product that you can sell really well, as long as you can get in front of that niche. Or maybe there's a certain type or a certain industry type that you really work well with. And you're thinking, okay, in the next 3 years, I want to grow my technology portfolio or my manufacturing, whatever those things are, by 50% or 150%, whatever those things are. So now what we're going to do is we're going to imagine it's the future. 3 years has come and gone, and you're there, and you did it. Congratulations, you're a rock star. You met your goals. Okay, this is just like picturing like we're golfing, and man, I got an eagle, right? I'm so excited. So the thing is now we have to say, what did I do? How did I accomplish it? And so we're going to look backwards from this imaginary future. And you're going to say, okay, for me, I picked up 50 new clients that are of a certain industry type. And they say, well, how did I do that? And we're going to reverse engineer that. And we're going to say, well, I ended up connecting with 100 businesses or 200 businesses or 300 businesses of that type on LinkedIn. And then from that, I connected with people there. And I also created content. I created 3 case studies that appealed to the 3 big problems that those people are trying to solve. And they were like these little video case studies, or they were an article. What you're doing is you're reverse engineering. Now, we don't care about how to do it. Like, you can dream big, right? You might say, Brett, I don't know how to create a video, but we're just going to pretend in this beautiful future you did. And you're like, you know what? On my Facebook or on my LinkedIn, I created these videos that explain these frequently asked questions. I took time every week and I posted 3 or 4 things every week that appealed to this certain audience. I took the time out to actually make a list of all of my clients, and I went through and I had my CSR, or maybe I did it myself, or I roped my kid into doing it. But either way, I got them to go in and send connection requests to all those people. What we're doing is we're trying to make sense of the actions that you had to take to get you where you are now. And so this is what I want you to do. I just want to invite you to practice this little exercise in your brain. Just stop the video and then think for yourself, okay, what does my future look like? What did I accomplish? And then once that's clear, see if you can reverse engineer the steps that it would take for you to accomplish that. And specifically, since we're really talking about social media, what are the outcomes that you need to have happen with your social media for that to work? And every level that you can go down a little bit deeper into detail, the more precise you'll be able to create this to-do list of things that you need to do to map out your future. So that's the third one. Pause the video, have fun with that, and then after the pause, we'll just wrap up this video. Okay, we're almost done. You've got some homework left to do, I'm guessing, but you know what you need to do. Hopefully your ideas are percolating in your brain, and you're making some notes of things to do. So before we're done, I just want to make sure that remember your assignment's not over. The day's not done until you create a post and share it on the Boss Social community. So go in there, and this is the hashtag for today, hashtag what good looks like. So go into LinkedIn or go into Facebook, create that post, add your hashtag, and then once that's published, then when you click it, you'll be able to see all the other posts from your fellow bosses for the things that they wrote. And that might even give you some more ideas. And if you're feeling gracious, then answer some questions if they have some questions. So again, in this post, share epiphanies, share insights, share questions that you still have, and then your day is done. So that's it for today. Tomorrow, we're actually going to be doing technical steps to optimize your LinkedIn profile, and it'll be right. The rubber hits the road in the morning. Thanks so much. Have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow.